in the cellar of Il Buco, and I'm here with René Redzepi. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about the book. It's a hard book to describe because it comes in three parts. It's photos, it's recipes, it's a journal.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the evolution of this book.
Well, first it's this thing here. It's the journal, which I wrote in 2011 after having a somewhat bad year in 2010, even though it was a good year. And then to sort of get out of that funk that I experienced at the end of 2010, I thought it would be a good idea to go home after work and then sort of keep track of what made that particular day good or bad. And so I did that. And it wasn't meant to be a book to be published. The editor of Phaidon, she read it with friends.
Were you nervous about it? Because my impression reading it was like, oh, whoa, like you're going there, you know, you're talking about financial troubles, you're talking about having a really bad day, you know, loving your team, hating your team. I mean, it's honest and it's written as though it was not meant to be printed. Was that?
No, I'm not afraid of it. I wasn't. I mean, there was a moment. I was talking to one of the guys in the kitchen, Lars, who's
featured prominently.
He's featured prominently, and he's American actually. And then, you know, there was a moment with him where I was like, "Are we sure about this? Is this the, you know?" But then at the end of everything, at the end of the day, I believe that you should only do things that you're not afraid of talking about.
Right.
And so what happened through that period is fine, you know, put it out there. And then at the same time, you'd be amazed how many chefs have read this by now already. You know, you get these messages, sort of, you as well, René, you know?
Right.
And so I think it's also a different time for cooks. 10, 20 years ago, or 20 years ago when I started, it was certainly just impossible to even consider writing a journal and having a publisher wanting to publish it, and let alone people buying it.
Right.
And with that also comes new experiences and new ways of dealing with things. And one of them is that suddenly you can find yourself in this attention whirlpool that you find difficulties in organizing or understanding. And at the same time, when that happens, it's also very flattering.
Of course.
And you think to yourself, or people actually tell you almost that that's it. You're at the mountaintop.
Right.
You reached the ultimate goal, whereas to you it was never the ultimate goal. It was one of these things that would be nice to have, not a need to have.
Right. And then it's where do you go from there? Because I think a lot of the journal reflects on that. Of like, okay, we've done really well. Where do we go? How do we stay creative? And a lot of the journal sort of delves into the creative process, which at times is so frustrating and at times is triumphant. And was that important to show as well? Just that, you know, you have these ups and downs and that fuels creativity.
Yeah, I think that was very important, but mostly it was important to myself. Right. Because all these sort of gazillion of failures that we go through in a year, and there are plenty.
Right, some of which are pretty epic.
Like, some of them are epic.
The blood.
Oh, the blood. Don't get into that. Gives me nightmares. But nevertheless, you know, I would allow a lot of these failures throughout the year to get to us. And I would think there would be something wrong with myself or the team, that we were just not good enough. Whereas when I then wrote the journal, I went back to it and actually flipped through the pages again and again. I could see that there is a process of things that, you know, failing the way we do is a natural thing.
Right.
You know, in between all these failures, there are the successes, which is the end result. So it's just about how you handle the road to that final, wonderful, great moment of success, you know?
Right.
So I see it now as a process, and as long as we're failing in the right way, which is, you know, we're progressing, we're testing ourselves, then I feel fine about it. It really changed our restaurant, being able to see that. But if you can't see it, you just feel something's wrong with you.
Let's talk about the other parts of the book, because I mean, you could have published this just as a journal.
Yeah.
And you wanted to include the recipes so that as the reader is reading through and hearing about, you know, the evolution of a recipe, you can then go through it, attempt to make it yourself if you can.
There are some, I mean,
a few look makeable,
Yeah.
more so than
The first one.
previous book.
Yeah.
And then you have the photos. So, when you were conceiving this, after you'd sort of decided, okay, let's print this journal, how did you say we're going to do it in 3 parts? We're not going to do it all together. They're each going to be separate. Where was that? Yeah. Where did that come from?
So that wasn't me, to tell the truth. That was the Kobe, the designer. At first, I thought maybe it should just be a book, a reading book.
Right.
But then again, I was like, no, there needs to be food in it.
Because you want to make it.
Yeah.
You read all about it.
Yeah, you want to see it and make it and see how to do it. So it became like that. And I actually, today, I think it's a stroke of genius from his side. Right. The fact that you can take this book and you can take it to the bedroom and read it as you're falling asleep. And you can actually leave this in the kitchen. Yeah.
Right.
And then,
flip to the photos to make sure it looks the way it's supposed to look.
Yeah.
This type of intimate portrayal, is that something that you would do again, or would you?
I would do it again, for sure. I mean, at first, when I started doing this, I was embarrassed about it, Seriously.
Yeah.
How do you tell, how do you go into the kitchen? And it's 20 minutes before everybody's about to leave, we're cleaning up, and you tell all the big bunch of tattooed boys and girls,
I wrote a journal.
I'm leaving, I have to go and finish my journal, It just doesn't fit in that type of environment, or I thought at least. But I did it, of course, and it was huge. And then now when people read it, it's just amazing. It's messages I receive from top chefs in Australia, England, saying your book totally resonates to me. So in that sense, maybe it's a good thing then. It's a good thing that we sort of become a little more cool, less macho about the whole situation, and just relax a bit.
As you're going on this tour now, are you excited to see people cook from it or read it? What is there a piece of it, or is it really just all of it?
I think read it is the first ultimate thing.
Yeah.
I know the recipes work. I know we can do it. I'm excited to see how people take it. How people read through it and flip through it, what they get out of it. This is personal, but at the same time, you're also tapping into a new skill set. That is to understand what was the essence of a day. Which really makes the hardship of what we do so much more easy.
Yeah.
And you can organize yourself better, and you can really see the situation that you're in a broader picture.
Right.
Writing does that to you. By doing that, you will be better organized. You will learn more about yourself and the trade you're in if you want to, by writing it down. It's an amazing thing to do.
Well, very glad that you did. And obviously, it is called A Work in Progress, Journal, Recipes, Snapshots. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us at Il Buco. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.